I actually started boxing sitting on these sofas when Max called me out. Yeah, I remember we were all sitting around here. We were watching KSI and Logan press conference or something on the screen. He was like, "Let me fight you on the undercard." No, it was Weller. It was the first one, which was KSI versus Weller. Max called me out, and from going from fighting Max at the Copper Box to now fighting in Miami is crazy, isn't it?
It's quite the rise. Tell us a bit about that story. So you're all sitting here, and you're watching the press conference.
Yeah.
How did it go from that to becoming a reality and being on the undercard?
So I remember we were all sat here, and me and my flatmate Max, we always get into like little bits of squabbles over like dishes or something like that. He called me out in front of everyone. Everyone was sat in this room, like there was like Harry, Cal, and that. And he pointed over to you. He's like, "I want to fight you in the comp box. You won't fight me. I'll be dancing around you." I was quite fat at the time. Yeah. So originally I said no. He called me out on YouTube. And then everyone was promoting it, saying, "Oh, he's scared, he's scared." I remember at that time, I was like, right, I'm going to go to the gym, train with Vidal. I was going around runs outside of West Ham, going around there, running every day. I was like, no way am I letting this guy fight me. And it was like a funny dynamic because we would be training together. We'd walk in the flat, I'd scowl at him, see if he's eating right. He would see if I'm eating right. And I could see that he was slowing down on the train. He was like, "It is what it is. We're fighting at the Copper Box. That's it."
You've been chasing this fight for at least 6 months.
Yes.
At the press conference, when was it? It was September.
Yes.
Obviously, we all saw you getting on stage, calling him out.
Yeah.
When did you actually go into camp and start training?
I was always training. The thing is, I'm always into competition. So I took part in the Challenger Games because I knew a fight was coming up somewhere down the line. Yeah, there's only a few YouTubers that can actually box and fight. So I knew a fight was always getting down the line. So to keep my conditioning up, I trained for the 1600 meters for the Challenger Games. It was an event that Logan Paul held. I knew Jake was going to be there. And at that point, when I saw Jake, I didn't want to call him out at the Challenger Games. After it, when I saw him sitting down, I told him, "Lad, I'm coming for that belt." He looked at me, was like, he didn't really know who I was, kind of shrugged me off. But now he's forced to fight me.
So why Jake? Because before that, you had 6
Yeah.
months of chasing the Joe Weller fight. That never came to fruition. So why did you pick Jake?
So the reason is, in the YouTube scene, there's 2 people that have got a belt. Whether it's official or not, in the YouTube scene, it's official. There's KSI, who's got the YouTube belt, and there's Jake Paul, who was given the WBC amateur belt for facing Deji. And I wanted to face Jake to take that belt from him. That's originally why I wanted to call him out.
What feelings have you developed about Jake?
I feel like as a boxer, when you're training, you're like, "Oh, I hate this guy, I hate this guy." I don't hate him. Yeah, I don't hate him. Maybe he dislikes me for me putting him in this situation. I know he's an athletic guy, but the plan is to smoke him. That is the plan. But I wanted to do this fight for a long time. It's a pro fight this time. No more amateur fights. It's a pro fight. And my feelings towards Jake is, I can't hate him. I don't hate him. I feel like he might hate me, but I don't hate him.
He says a lot of stuff about your nose. Does that not make you hate him?
No! My channel's called Big Nose. AnesonGib backwards is Big Nose. It doesn't affect me. His hairline is receded. His hairline is receded, so it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me.
He said a lot. He's like, one of the things he said the other day was that this is a severe mistake for you.
Yes.
And you said you just said there you want to smoke him.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
How am I going to do that? Well, I can't give away my plans now, but realistically, everyone knows what I'm bringing. He's bringing athleticism. He's the better boxer out of the pools. And what am I bringing? I'm bringing heat. Yeah, I'm bringing heat. 12 rounds of action to a 6-round fight. And we'll see if he can deal with it. It's war. That's what it is. The fight is war.
It's quite clear from your first 2 fights, you're a come-forward fighter.
Yeah.
A lot of lateral movement.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel for the first time when you feel that 10-ounce glove hitting you, do you think that's going to put you off walking forward and using that?
It's not in my nature. It's not in my nature to be scared of getting striked. So when, like you said, the 10-ounce gloves, I don't think it comes to mind. But when I watch back on my old fights, most of my defense came from my face. Yeah, so that's something that I've been working a lot during the camp. My defense is tightened up. I'm definitely more aggressive than ever. So that's something that you got to keep in mind. Because when you watch back your old fights, you're like, I should have done that better. I should have done this better. I don't think that for my level, I'm good. But when watching back the fight, I know that there are big improvements that need to be done for the next fight.
So what improvements exactly have you made?
My defense has improved drastically. Because before it was a lot. I don't think, as you can see, I think it was round 3. I hurt Jay. He had 2 10 counts in round 3. And when I went up to him, I didn't respect him. I went with my hands down, bang, bang. That can't happen. So my guard right now a lot tighter. The way that I move is a lot more different. So it's got to change. It's got to change, and it has changed.
Have you changed any of your preparation, because this time you don't have a head guard, and I know it's only 2 ounce difference in the gloves, but are you sparring any differently? Are you doing anything different so that you can get used to what you're going to be facing on the night?
Well, it's 6 rounds, so my whole conditioning has changed completely. My conditioning was always there. I was always ready for 6 rounds, but now I got to make sure the heat was always there for 4 rounds in my last fight. This time it's 6 rounds, so now I got to up the rounds, up the training, so then the heat's always there.
Are you going to be able to deliver the sort of energy that you were doing in the white collar fights?
Of course I can. Of course I can. It's in my nature. That's how I fight. That's how I fight.
Because 6 rounds is a long time to be in a professional boxing.
Don't look at my
ring.
physique, my friend. This is how I fight. I've been conditioned all year. That's what I do. I train all the time. I love it. That's what I do. I need it in my day to train. If I wake up and I don't train, I kind of get upset. So I need to do it. I need to do it. That's where I feel comfortable.
Let's talk about the weight. So you're going to be boxing, is it 85 to 87 kilos?
It is 188 pounds to 193 pounds. The last fight, I was 79 kilos, and on this fight, I'm going to be about 7 kilos heavier. I think. Am I doing my maths right? I think it's 7 kilos heavier, yeah.
That's quite a big weight difference. That's quite a lot of extra muscle you're going to have to carry.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's maybe more beneficial to him because he's a bit taller?
No. So in my last fight, I agreed with Jay Swingler to be 79. And naturally, I'm a big boy. I like my food, yeah. So usually I'm around about 88 to 90 kilos on average basis training through this whole fight. So I've had to cut down for this fight.
Let's talk about your team, because you've got the same team that KSI had for all his fights. You've got Vidal as the lead trainer. You've got Leon as strength and conditioning, and also takes part in a bit of the boxing. And now you've got Vidal's dad. What do they bring to you? What makes them the best team for you?
Well, Vidal has been obviously training boxing since he was 3 years old. His dad has been training Vidal. So while Vidal has been preparing for his own fight, I've been training with his dad, who taught Vidal everything he knows. And Leon is a different beast when it comes to strength and conditioning, so he's been teaching me the ways.
What do you like about working with Vidal?
He's been my original trainer. I remember when I was obese and I was in gym box training, I was on the treadmill, and I would see a lot of PTs would come up to me like a fat piggy bank, trying to get a new client. But Vidal originally approached me. I flagged them off. But then when I walked, I saw him shadow box in the mirror. I said, you know what, all these PTs know how to train, but this guy knows how to fight. That's probably something that I wanted to know. And I think I took him up before even all the boxing hype even started. At first, I did boxercise, just to get my weight down, just throwing as many punches. There was no technique or anything. There was no fight coming up. But that's originally what I did. Then it evolved gradually from the first Max fight, the Jay Swingler fight, and now to my pro fight.
Back in 2017, if somebody told you in just over 2 years you'll be fighting in Miami as a professional boxer, what would you have said?
I think I would have been game as well. I would have been in game as well. Thing is, back then I didn't know all the preparation and training. Thing is, when you don't know how to fight to begin with, everyone thinks that they can fight. Until you're put through the trenches, the sparring, the training, and you realize all the work, it gets, your mind expands to it more and more. But back then, I would have been game. The fat me still would have been game.
Vidal is, as you said, he's 3-0. So he's somewhat a novice in terms of boxing.
Yeah.
Jake in his corner has a free weight world champion in Sugar Shane Mosley. He's training in Big Bear, following boxing legends like Oscar De La Hoya. There's quite a big difference. Do you think that's going to have any effect?
Well, Logan Paul had world heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs, and how did that end up for him? Does it matter? Are they fighting for him? No. At the end of the day, no. So it doesn't really matter who he's training with. It's all about the individual themselves.
Is there going to be more beef between the coaches?
I don't know. If it happens, it happens. But I don't know. I doubt it. Sure, Shane Mosley seems respectable. I doubt it.
It's interesting because obviously you're a YouTuber coming into the boxing world. Well, what do you think is the hardest test you've had to go through, maybe physical or mental?
The hardest test becomes the fight, doesn't it? The fights are the hardest test, and so far I've won every single fight. So those are the tests. And other than that, all the other stuff, the press conference, the weigh-ins, they're just other noise. The fight is at the end of the day the test, and my test comes 30th of January.
KSI and Logan sort of, for them, those events became part of the show. It was both of them thrive off being the showman, entertaining the crowds. Do you think that the events that have happened so far, where you and Jake have come face to face in LA, in London, and the events that you're going to have, the press conference, how much of a difference are they going to make to fight night?
Very little. I don't think very little. I think we're both used to that type of environment. Things are going to get heated, I'm guessing. Yeah. So whatever happens those days, they happen. It's all about how you can handle the pressure on fight night.
Do you think you can get any advantage, though, in those events?
I think I've already got the advantage. I think he doesn't, because originally he never wanted to fight me. He did. What was he saying? He said, "Who is Gib? Who is Gib?" Well, now Gib is the guy that he's fighting. 30th of January. Gib is the person that has forced him into this. So I think in one side, when there's the risks to rewards for Jake, it's quite low. For me, it's quite high. So that's how I see that.
Do you think that, because you've chased this fight, he says, I don't know if it's true, he says that he didn't know you.
Yeah.
You've had to chase the fight quite a lot. And I'd say that there's been occasions where you might have got to him. Do you think that that's the case?
Whether it is or not, we don't know. You got to ask Jake that, but he's fighting me at the end of the day. I got my way. I don't think he always was chasing a big name, but now he's been forced by me to fight me. So it is what it is. I think he always went to DAZN trying to find a new opponent, but it just became me at the end of it.
You had quite a lot of the support of, I suppose, KSI, and
the guys.
KSI kept bringing you up at every press conference that he wanted you to fight Jake. So I suppose that he's done you a massive solid there.
Of course he has. Yeah, I think he was a big helper of bringing the fight together, because I remember. But Jake, thing is, Jake was in La La Land of trying to find an opponent, not knowing who he's gonna fight, and at the end of the day, his hand got forced. His hand got forced to fight me, and yeah, that's about it. JJ did help a lot though.
Why do you think he didn't want to fight you?
He wanted to fight. There were 3 people he wanted to fight. There was Soldier Boy, who is a guy that weighs like 30 kilos less than him. There's Fousey Tube, who never had a boxing fight. I think he wanted to build his record up and try and get them wins. But then it became me at the end of it.
So let's analyse Jake. What do you see in terms of boxing? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses?
So I see him as the better boxer out of both the pools. Because between Logan and Jake throws his combinations more. So from that side, Jake is probably the better boxer, throws his combinations more, and he seems more calm when he boxes. The only weakness that I saw mainly, he wasn't conditioned enough against Deji. He got tired about round 3, and even in the post-interviews, you can go back and see it. Which one was it? It was Seconds Out. Interviewed him, said, "What was the hardest thing in this fight?" And he said, "It was my conditioning. I was blowing about round 3." And between us all, Deji didn't take the fight as serious as he probably should have, and I think he will even say that. So that was one of his main weaknesses. I think definitely for the next fight, he's going to look to improve that, but he's coming up against someone that's just well seasoned and conditioned against him.
You'd hope that his fitness is better if he's training at high altitude
100%.
in Big Bear.
100%.
Who do you think will handle the event better?
I think madness is embedded into my DNA. Yeah, for him, when push comes to shove, I think he likes to have control. He likes to have control of in every situation of his life. this is a type of situation where he doesn't have control. He wasn't in control of his opponent. He won't be in control of the fight. So I think that type of pressure will eat him a little bit. For me, I thrive there. If you can just see my walkouts, those moments is where I thrive. The fight itself is where I thrive.
So if that's true, then that he doesn't like control, I suppose your style is the perfect.
I'm his boogeyman. I'm his boogeyman. That's what it is. I'm his boogeyman.
Is that what Vidal says? You go in, take control from the first bell.
That's not what Vidal says. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm taking control of the whole fight. He don't want to be there. He wants to fight someone else. He wants an easier fight. That's what he was pushing for. He's now trying to go for the I'm gonna have revenge for my brother. Blah 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 blah. His brother lost. He doesn't have control of anything. He's trying to go for this storyline, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
What's for you then? What's your storyline? Is it Jake then Logan?
I wanted the belt. That's what I want. I want his belt. Whether it's official for Matchroom with his own or not, I want the belt. He's been carrying it around. I want him after the fight to hand me the belt. That's what I want. I want the WBC belt that he's been lugging around.
I think he held it pretty much all of fight week in LA.
Of course he did. He even mentioned it wrong. He was like, I got this WCB belt. He said it in front of Eddie Hearn. He embarrassed everyone.
What did you learn from that fight week? Because you were ringside for the fight. There was quite emotional commentary from you.
I think I did, from doing the commentary, I did an awful job. I was watching JJ. I was like, go on, JJ! Go on! I was just screaming from my end. I think you can even see it from when I did the reaction.
I think it's good. It's your natural emotions. That's what people want to see more than
Ethan and Weller did a good job. They were actually talking about the fight. I think I was just making animal noises every time someone was hitting each other.
What advice has JJ given you?
He just said train hard. That's all he can give me. Vidal, Leon and Derek are the people that I get the advice from. So JJ just said go get him.
Is it something that you will you have a conversation with him before the fight just to ask him how he felt and maybe anything that you can learn from?
It's something that I've been through before, so I think I know what's coming up. The first fight was the only fight I felt anxious for. Something new, you'd never done it before, so I didn't really know what was coming up. And then as soon, you can see, there's clips of me, as soon as I'm walking out, you can see the anxiety in my face. I think I turn around, and as soon as that music drops, and I hear the crowd, anxiety lifted away, I was game. Second fight, no anxiety. Yeah, I was ready, I was game for the fight. I knew I was fighting Jay Swingler, it's something I did before. Third fight, it's different, it's in the USA, so Jake's gonna have the home crowd. But you know what, boo me, because when I beat your man in front of you, I can have my hand raised and I can look at everyone in their eyes.
Do you think that moment where the anxiety just disappeared because you turned around, you've got 20,000 people in front of you, do you think that's where you almost go from being Ali to AnesonGib?
To Big Giver. Because I think the Ali's the person that's fighting. When you fight, I feel like that's where I'm expressing myself. Yeah, so the anxiety is only there because it's the unknown. When you're going into something not knowing what's going to happen, that's when the anxiety comes. If you know what's happening, you're seasoned through it, you're done the sparring, you know what's coming up, it's events that I've done before, there won't be any anxiety. There won't be.
Do you thrive with it? Because from my personal point of view, if I was going to say maybe that JJ's biggest strength, this is a man who's been successful in music, in boxing, on YouTube, in so many different walks of life. I'd say his biggest strength is probably that he just loves to entertain, and no matter what scenario you put him in, he knows how to win over a crowd or win a fight. Do you think that you have some of those traits?
I don't think this is for me. Obviously, this fight's entertainment for the people. For me, I'm not going in for entertainment. I'm going in for a fight. So when it comes to fighting, that's where I thrive. I guess it may come across when I'm doing all my nonsense and I'm getting hyped up in front of the crowd when I'm doing my ring walk. That comes off as entertaining, but I think fighting is where I thrive at.
Is boxing something that you think if you had picked it up when you were younger, you would have just fallen in love with?
100%. I wish my mum made me do it. I want to make my kids do it. They need to be done because it humbles you as well. Because like I said before, when I was all fat, I thought I could fight. And then until I got cracked in the jaw, and I was like, oh, it's happening for real. Then you know. So I think it's good to learn from a young age. And it's definitely brought me some discipline. Now I like training every day. I train like 2-3 times a day. So it's something that definitely I recommend to do. Because obviously, it's not something that you can play. You got to take it seriously.
maybe run us through like a normal day in training camp for you.
Normal day in training camp, you got your runs, you got your groundwork, you got your sparring, got your pad and bag work, and then obviously the brutal strength and conditioning to get you fit enough for the fight. With the sparring, it's got to be mixed. It's got to be some light sparring, some heavy sparring. You got to be tested still, but then with the light ones, you obviously practice your stuff. So in a more controlled environment. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So with Logan, even though he lost, he was adamant that he's going to keep fighting.
Yeah.
I think JJ's probably going to maybe do acting, something like that. He was maybe come back for a fight in the future. But where do you see yourself going? Do you think you're going to stay with it? Are you chasing another fight after this?
Right now, the aim is Jake Paul. That's the aim. You can't look past your opponent. I feel like that's what Jake's doing. He says, I'm a stepping stone. Yeah. I'm not looking past that. I'm looking right now Miami. That's my fight right now. I can't be saying, oh, I'm going to call out him, him, and him. Right now, it's Jake.
There was all sorts of rumours that Wayne Rooney, Robbie Williams, do those names not tempt you to talk about the future?
We'll see. We need the checks to go up, maybe 8 figures. Yeah. So we got to wait for that. But right now, it's only Jake.
So maybe you v Joe Weller as well?
Me versus Joe Weller. He told me he doesn't want to do it. I don't think Joe, because I think Joe enjoys the boxing and he likes being a part of it and doing the interviews, but I don't think he enjoys the fighting element. I think I even watched one of his podcasts but a week before the fight. I don't think it's for him.
I'll see if I can convince him.
Yeah.
It'll be a good fight.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about you. So before YouTube, what was your life like?
I was in school. I remember just after secondary school, I started YouTube. I remember I was a fan of all the YouTubers. I'd always watch them during secondary school. But then just after secondary school, I started up my own channel. I made a lot of FIFA videos. Yeah, made my way through the FIFA scene, and obviously my fans enjoyed it more and more and more. The next level up was the boxing. After that, who knows?
Did you ever think when you started that people wouldn't be just watching just to see FIFA? They actually fell in love with your character.
I think that's what I liked the most, because I'd watch people like, there was a few YouTubers like Syndicate, KSI, other YouTubers like R9 Riot, and I liked the fact that people could put out content and then people could react and enjoy their content. So that's what I enjoyed the most. That's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to make good content that people would enjoy. I think that was always the dream back then.
And did you ever think you'd make money that quickly?
No, I remember when I first started, I put a goal to be signed by a certain network. And I remember it was in my college diary. Right at the back of it, when it said, "What would you like to do at the end of school or something?" I was like, "Get this contract. I want to get this MCM contract." Right now, they don't mean yeah, but back then it was such a big deal.
So is that something you stuck with? Do you have one goal in mind, similar to the fight, and you just stick to it?
I think so. That's the way that I operate. I always make sure that there's a goal, and then I try and get that goal. We'll see how it happens. And I work hard towards it. I make sure I put everything that I can towards it.
What's life like being 23 and making money by putting videos online and living?
I think people think it's more interesting than it is. I'm just a normal guy. I don't do much. I sit in my room. I play Xbox. I go to the gym. I eat food. I don't really do anything special. So it's just a standard life.
It must be pretty fun though.
Well, when you get opportunities like this, of course it's fun. And then obviously with the KSI and Low, there's opportunities that pop up. But in general, it's an ordinary life.
So it literally is just, you kind of just chill out. You don't drive around in lovely cars, partying around London.
Not me. That's not my character. No, not me.
You don't need boxing necessarily to make a living. Well, you don't need boxing to make a living. So do you think that has any impact on making you motivated to get punched in the face?
No. I don't think that changes everything. I'm training like I've never won, and then I'll perform like I've never lost. Yeah. So it doesn't change. But with all of that, I enjoy doing it. It's something that I really want. It's a character. It's a test of character. This. Yeah. Because it's not like I've been fighting my whole life. I've been fighting for what? For 3 years. So this is a test of character. It's a test of everyone's character. See what they're about. So when you're underneath that spotlight, your character gets exposed. Yeah. So that's how I look at it.
let's talk about the YouTube community. 'Cause the British YouTube community, I know I was in LA and I felt it was almost like this big young family from England were coming over to LA and you know, just all supporting one another. Everyone was giving interviews supporting JJ. What does that? How much does that help you?
That helps me a lot. Like I said, it's like one big family. We've all seen, because I think the way that we all met up, it was pretty much, it sounds nerdy. I'm going to say in a boxing interview, it sounds nerdy. We met at gaming conventions, yeah? So we've known each other from going to these gaming conventions. And then obviously we've just known each other more and more and more. And the support has grown and grown and grown to different avenues that people have gone through. For example, JJ with the boxing. There's some people with their own clothing lines. People with their weight loss transformations, and now with me with the boxing, so the support's always there.
At the risk of maybe offending you a little, you all kind of started from something that is, most people describe as nerdy, and then you ended up making money out of it and becoming famous, especially in KSI's situation, mainstream. Yeah. Do you think that's the beauty of it, going from like the nerdiness of it to actually?
I guess so, because because you asked this question before, when I'm making my pack openings and my foot draft videos in my room and making all these FIFA videos, did I think I was going to do boxing? No, yeah. I think even JJ, like he would make raps over, I think he made a rap over his science work. And did he ever think, like, afterwards he would be making a song with like Rick Ross being at the top of the charts? No, so yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from that.
I know when I've ever had conversations with Zerka, he's very much, and I know that within the community is described as sort of the dad, because he's so passionate about growing everyone, not just thinking about his own subscribers, how he's going to make money. He cares about how you're all going to make money. Is that something that you are hoping to drive as well?
I think that's the difference with the UK and the US. The UK always uplift people and try and bring everyone in and try and support one another and try and uplift them. With the US, it's like, what can I get from you? What's this that I can get from you? There's no, with the US, there's not really a bond. Even the people that have a bond, whoever's the top dog is taking a cut from everyone that's around them. So I think that's the difference. That's why it's hard for the Americans to find a true person to tell them how it is. Like in the UK, I feel like if you mess up, you're getting slewed. I feel like in the US, you can't slew this guy. You can't speak down upon him. So I think that's how it's different from that to that.
That's why we can probably forgive the guy who wrote the press release saying that you're part of the side. It's an easy mistake to make because you're all like, if you were knowledgeable about the YouTube community and you saw all of the UK YouTubers, you'd think that they were all sort of one, the way you all work together.
Well, let's clear it now. I'm not part of the side, man. There's 7 members, but I'm happy that they've all given their support for this fight.
That is a big part of it, really, isn't it? Because
and it's not just the Sidemen. There's more to the Sidemen. There's more to the Sidemen that have showed their support. Weller, in fact, he was, even though I called him out, he was the one that originally sorted the Jake and me fight. Because before I never really thought about, you know what? Actually, I never thought about fighting Jake. But I remember Weller interviewed Jake, said, "Would you fight AnesonGib?" And he was like, "Gib, he doesn't have enough subs." I remember as soon as I saw that on my video, I went down to the pool. I did a story by a swimming pool. I said, "This guy thinks he can't take me." I went to the pool, did my laps, exerted all my energy, and I called him out after that.
So, in terms of this fight, do you think that it's potentially the last YouTube boxing professional fight?
You never know. You never know. Like I said, I can't be looking past Jake. But I think there will be more fights to come.
KSI and Logan got quite a lot of stick from the boxing world.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
At the end of the day, I'm putting in the graft. You know what would be a mockery? A mockery would be me not training, me not sparring, me not putting in the work, and just going in fight day, accepting a check, and that's it. But what I'm doing is I'm putting in the graft, I'm doing the sparring, I'm doing the training, I'm running my miles, I'm hitting the bag, I'm hitting the pads, I'm doing all the work. So I can't care about that. And I don't. If I'm honest, I don't care about that. I'm trying. Like I'm doing my best. I'm putting all the work in. So that's what I got to say. Maybe my answer should be different, but that's how I feel.
Do you think that the YouTube fans
and the YouTube fans, they enjoy the boxing? For example, I saw Billy Joe Saunders. He even said that from that event, his exposure has increased. So from getting the YouTube audience to watch boxing, it's like some other people have now been doing boxing. They've now started training. People are on their own weight loss journeys. It's changing gamers to actually enjoying sports. And isn't that good? That's good. We wanted to fight on that event originally. That's what me and Jake were striving to do. We both wanted to be on that event. Not whether he wanted to face me or not on that event. That's what the aim was. But now we've got our own co-main event. And from being, I remember my first fight was 3 fights away from co-main. My last fight was 1 fight away from being the main event. Now I'm the co-main event. So the growth is good. The growth is good.
alongside world title fights on a custom-built arena in Miami, that must feel pretty good.
Of course. I'm actually very excited for this. I'm very excited for this.